Ray, do you remember the Sony PlayStation, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2?
Yes, I believe it or not, I actually won one once in a sales contest with Acura, along with a plasma TV.
That is fantastic. But what if I
Yes,
told you that your Sony PlayStation could drive you around town?
I thought it did when I played Grand Theft Auto, but
Oh, yeah, that wasn't real, Ray. That wasn't real. That was just a video game. Well, it turns out that
yes.
Sony is partnering with Honda to make a Sony electric car. Is this surprising to you, Ray?
Um, well, they're two iconic Japanese brands coming from two different type of industries, trying to join forces to, bring us into a new future, I suppose. Um, and do I think that somebody in the tech sector, like Sony is, might bring a slightly different perspective to the automotive area than what Honda would on their own? Because, let's face it, as industries develop, as companies develop, they kind of get set in their ways, and suddenly everything they approach, they kind of have blinders on, and their field of vision narrows. And so sometimes if you bring somebody in from the outside that would look at it from a completely different perspective, it could have some, I don't know, positives to the way we consider vehicles in the future, I would think.
I think Honda is a perfect example of what you just mentioned, getting stuck in your old ways as an automaker. Because Honda has been forced to rely on General Motors to create their first electric powertrain. Basically, Honda is borrowing GM's Ultium platform.
Yes.
Honda has been known for making great hybrid vehicles for years, and they have one all-electric model in Europe, but it only has like a 100-mile range, maybe 120-mile range. It's not really winning any awards. But they waited so long and relied so heavily on their other powertrains, including hybrids, which, it's a good moneymaker, that now that it's clear, at least it seems like it's clear, that all signs point towards an electrified future.
Yes.
Honda says, GM, please help us out for the next 3 or 4 years. Beyond that, though, it looks like Honda is going to be responsible for engineering and producing the powertrain for this new Sony plus Honda EV. And Sony says that they're going to be responsible for the interior design, all of the infotainment. So this really sounds like, it sounds like it could be full of a lot of potential.
It sounds almost like a marriage made in heaven when you think about it. Because
Marriage made in Japan.
there too. Yes, in Japanese heaven. And because when you think about it, you're bringing two entirely different perspectives into this new platform, and each has a tremendous amount of strength. Sony should be able to do wonders for software and infotainment and things of that nature. And my guess is, they're going to look at the interior of vehicles a lot differently than a major automobile manufacturer like Honda would. Honda brings engineering and manufacturing capabilities that Sony wouldn't have. And I think when you combine those two, that they really could be onto something. And I just think they're onto something because there's going to be entirely new ways of looking at things. I took a course once that the Penske organization had us take, and my big takeaway was that just because we do things a certain way doesn't mean that's the only way. It just means that's the way we're used to doing them. And I think that applies to all types of businesses. And so when Sony and Honda get together, it'll be, okay, now we have to figure out completely different ways because we're trying to do something completely different. And I think that's a healthy approach, personally. And when we talk about innovation, I think the innovations that we'll see from those two companies working together will be pretty incredible. But that's just me. Hey, you get to declare your independence from high prices from auto dealers. Join YAA. Get 15% off. Just type in July and the number 4. Just me.
And another aspect that fascinates me is just how much money Honda has already committed to shoveling into electrification, even before this announcement was made. They've said that by 2027, they're spending $46 billion with a B dollars on research and development for EVs. That is a ton of money to still not have their first EV come to market until 2024. And even then, it's powered by GM's Ultium platform. So I think that one of the greatest advantages of the Honda plus Sony partnership is that it's going to market itself, is it not? Like, you hear the words Sony and Honda put together, and you automatically want to check that out, especially if you're a techie.
Well, it's not like it's not like just a fresh startup that you never heard of.
Yes.
I mean, these are established players in their respective fields, and so you would expect, because they're established, that they should be able to come up with something other than a concept, that they would actually have the wherewithal to bring it about and make it happen in a timely manner. You know, we can talk about Rivian, and they can't produce the number of vehicles that they had hoped to produce, but it was a great concept. They had a great concept. They don't have the ability to actually pull that concept off in the numbers that they had hoped to.
They look good, though. When I see one, I'm like, whoo, that's a good-looking truck right there.
I get that.
But they only build like 1,000 per quarter right now.
Yes.
Or maybe 2,000.
And so I think with the combining of Honda and Sony, where they both have their expertise, that they'll be able to make this type of joint venture, this type of concept, happen much more quickly and much more efficiently than, say, someone like Rivian was able to do with their trucks.
And at CES 2022 earlier this year, we got a sneak peek at the Vision S concept by Sony. So now it looks like the Vision S concept is actually going to come to life, just powered by Honda. I wonder whose nameplate will be on the front.
I wonder what they're going to call the car company that they become. You know, it could either be Shoney or Honey or
Oh yeah. Or something new altogether.
My guess is it'll be something new altogether.
Well, they say that by 2030, 40% of Honda's sales will be all electric. That's what CEO Toshihiro Mibe said. So we'll see if they can actually get to 40% in just 7.5 years' time. Maybe Sony will be the key to getting them there. But Ray, you and I, we will stay on top of it and see how this goes.
I promise I will if you will.
I'll be there.
Terrific. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, Ray.